This is going to be another two-part video where we are replacing all the hoses feeding the crane, because a lot of them look quite worn. We started with removing that plastic protection from all the hoses. There are two big parts, left and right, going up to the top of the crane, and then there is a third part going kind of to the side. We also found that we had a small leak on one of the hose. This feeds the steering from the crane package, valve package back here, and realized that one of the adapters there was damaged. Could have been done by me when I plugged up those two connectors that connected to the bogie lift, and we removed that part. Luckily we could find a new adapter on the valve block that was removed from the bogie lift. We spent some time marking the different hoses, giving them numbers, giving the connections, writing down the same numbers so it would be easy to reconnect the new hoses. Then it was just a matter of disconnecting all the hoses. Some of the clamps holding the pipes up here had to be removed to get access to hoses going underneath. Most of them came undone quite easily. I was a little bit surprised. I suspected a bit more of a struggle. My dad started working on the clamp down here that kind of holds the hoses in place. The rubbers here was quite worn, so we ended up buying two new rubbers for that. We replaced a total of 13 hoses. With them all disconnected up top, we started feeding them down. The vacuum pump on this machine, it's not like it's really doing a whole lot. It seems to produce some vacuum, but I'm not sure if there is some other issue. It wasn't really helping out. The hoses was fed down and drained into a bucket. Here you can see my the map I had drawn of the layout on a. If you have been to the Swedish monopoly for alcohol, you know that cardboard. Here they had added nuts to the back of the clamp holding the hydraulic hose in place. That took a little while to figure out. On the other side the threads were intact, but the clamp was in poor conditions, so both sides was in poor conditions, so they are going to be replaced also. With all the hoses up top and to the lift cylinder for the boom disconnected, the hoses to all of them on the valve block were disconnected. They all came undone. Well, it's tight there, but it wasn't too bad to get them all disconnected. With them all disconnected, we laid them out to measure them and see if the parts diagrams we had the correct lengths on them, and that seemed to be quite okay, so we were gonna buy new hoses according to the parts diagram. The following day I had to combat some melting water, trying to get it to run out into the ditch where it should be. It was kind of an ice ledge, some snow to make kind of a dam, and picking a little at the ice, and it started flowing where it was supposed to be. Spent some time marking the last few hoses, This is for turning the crane. There is one last hose down here that's like, I think it's a safety release hose for the hydraulic like stop for where you put the wood. With all the hoses removed, I measured the last few hoses. Then I moved them all into a weatherproof location. I will save a couple of them, the best looking ones, as backup for the future. Remove that clamp that held the hoses in place. The bolt here that was holding them was quite worn. I have since located a new one. Spent some time cleaning up some caked in old grease. I think it's worth doing a little cleanup when it's easy to access compared when all the hoses are there. Cleaned up the kind of ring where all the hoses feeds out. I had lost the footage when we removed it. Cleaned the clamp out. Noticed there was a grease fitting missing for the expanding gate at the front of the where you load the lumber. Took a couple of tries hammering in the Torx bits, but eventually it came out quite easily. Could fit a new grease nipple there and grease it up. Also had ground down a socket for that sight glass I plan to add to the bogies.